So you match them. They go to the first date. They're like, I'm interested. You set up the second date.
Yeah.
And then you let them go until they come back and say it didn't work.
Yeah.
How much do you spend?
But sometimes they never come back. And then I'll read the New York Times vow sections and it's like, they met through a friend. And I'm like, say my name.
Not say my name.
Wait.
It's happened 9 times now.
Shut up.
Do
you feel like people do that because they're slightly ashamed of coming to you?
They used to be, not anymore. Now everything has shifted the last 2 years. So now people are like, oh, I'm using Matchmaker Maria. And I'm like, ooh, like it's so different. Like I think people have now suffered enough dating fatigue online where it's like a flex to hire a matchmaker.
Yes and no. Can I ask you about like you said in the last 2 years there's been a different response to matchmaking.
Yeah.
However, there was like a viral TikTok recently where a woman seemed really shamed in the comments for spending $10,000 on a matchmaker.
I saw that.
Yeah, I
And
felt
she
bad for
used
her.
your guy, the guy that came.
Anwar.
He's not our. You
know what I mean. Like she used Anwar.
He used her. Yeah, she used him.
She didn't use a matchmaker. She used a dating coach.
A dating coach.
Yeah.
But even though I know friends and a lot of our listeners, if they're on dating apps, the dating apps now have found ways to monetize. Like you can't see certain likes or send messages without upping the tier. Right. No one judges someone paying $20 a month for a dating app, but this girl seemed to be really.
I didn't understand the judgment because when I was reading it, I was following it with my sister who happens to also be one of my matchmakers on my team. So she's also 4th generation. We're very different though. But she and I we went through all those comments because we're trying to understand like, where is this outreach coming from?
Where it's coming from? This
the
is
Black
the
community?
No.
Yeah, where?
It's coming from the fact that $10,000 is a lot to some and not to her. We are not having any discussion about the $20, $240 a year.
But did you
on a
notice
dating
that
app.
it was all coming from a certain group of people?
No, I 100% think this is the value that people placed on it. $240 a year. I was 100% spending $20 on Hinge, not even knowing it. So that's $240 a year. Maybe I spent $10 on Raya. I may have been spending somewhere upwards of $500 a year in subscriptions for dating, not because I'm desperate, just because I'm like, I want to see tall, I want to see black. That was my thing.
I will say,
if we don't have $10,000 to spend, it's much like when someone tells you they bought an expensive pair of shoes. Well, are they rich? Or do they not have a lot?
So to me, it's an accountability partner.
To your point, though, there is a socioeconomic, I think, relation to it. That did seem to be where we saw the outrage from. Yes, was because it went viral even on Black Twitter, on Spiritual Word, on all of the things. So yes, probably a socioeconomic sense to what Weezy's point is and your point is in terms of the people that seemed outraged. But also, I would say within our culture, within our history, if we go back even to, and I don't want to take it all the way back to slavery or even when we think of like where our ancestors come from, there's not any history of people paying for matchmaking or relationships or things like that. It's just not. We either meet someone within like the reach of our family or that's it. I would say more so white people or wealthy people within their history, they went and bought who they wanted to marry into the family. We don't have that within our culture.
So
we
let
don't.
me, I want to talk about what you're saying because I think it's actually really important. Okay. The Black community, and that's a subculture in itself, right?
Yes.
The Indian American community, the Greek American community, the Lebanese American community.
Yes.
Taiwanese American community. Like, look at these subcultures. What these subcultures have in common is that they have their own little chamber of commerce events. They have their own parties. They have one group has a quinceanera. The other one has Pascha. These are all really social events where you might not need to hire a matchmaker or a dating coach. You already are meeting a lot of people. It's funny. What you're talking about, I've experienced from the Greek side. So when people look at me, they're like, oh, you must have basically Greek clients. I only get like 2 or 3 Greek clients a year. Greek people are hyper social and they go, why would I ever hire a matchmaker? Why would I ever hire a dating coach? And that's a fair assessment when you come from a social subculture.
Our culture is social.
I'm going to be honest too. I actually think the reason that Anwar is important for the girls that go out all the time, all of the advice he was giving seemed like people that were unsuccessful with dating. They were going on dates and not getting to the finish line or getting stuck in the situationships. that felt like and feels like what his content is tailored to, in my opinion. And I think hiring a coach to get the best out of dates is good too.
People hire me as a coach
with the dating refresh.
Yeah, with everything, right? We have the Agape Intensive. We have all these.
Before we get to
right?
the tiers, really quick, you mentioned your sister.
Yeah,
matchmakers. What's the criteria, and do they need to be married?
Before we get there, though, wait.
Okay, these are really good questions.
I know. Before we get there, only because I really liked where we were going with we didn't speak solely to. Then you brought up Greek, and then so. Why do you think then when you saw the comments,
right?
You saw us in the comments? I do want to put a bow tie on maybe why because this is our audience.
Because
why our audience would be like matchmaking?
I saw myself in the outrage in the sense that like I have gotten this outrage from the Greek community.
Okay.
I have had people from churches call my church and be like, how dare she charge something that she should be giving away for free? Right.
Okay.
And I think what the conversation needs to shift on is, and when people hire me as a coach, is always what all I can do is hold your feet to the fire. What Anwar did and what I do is we make you accountable to the decision. I just had a woman tell me that, she's about to get engaged. And the guy that she met him a week after a situationship had ended. And she said, if I had not hired you and you didn't teach me, why it didn't work with the last guy, I would have mourned that relationship for 3 to 6 months like I did every other situationship in my life. And frankly, I'm 35. I don't have time to be mourning that long. But because you gave me these tools and this vocabulary and how to work through why it didn't work, I was able to mourn it in a week, and then put myself out there and then find my fiance. And I think that's what Anwar is doing. And I think it's okay that some people are outraged because people get outraged over things.
Everything.
Right? I could put down that I like pancakes on threads and then someone's like, you don't like waffles?
Yep.
Like, okay.
All the time.
Right?
All the time.
I've gotten that outrage that woman has gotten from the person that's providing the service. I didn't force anyone to sign me a check. Right? People, and that's okay. Like I can only work with the people that pay me.
Period.
And that's okay. Everything else, the opinions don't matter.